Hello YouTube, and this is Robert with Super Galactic Geek Review, and we've got another comic book review for you today. Now this comic book, I have to apologize to all of you, I did not get to the review on this one. Somehow this one slipped through the cracks. This came in my comic block for July, and I missed doing a review on it. I am sorry, I apologize now, but I'm going to get to that. This is a crossover comic that was done by DC Comics, and I think this is an amazing idea. What they did was they took the Lantern Corps, which is all the different lantern rings, and they took and crossed it over with Star Trek. Now, I love the Lantern Corps. I love Star Trek. So this was a great idea to bring the two universes together in a crossover. Now, this is book 1 of 6. There's 6 books that they did in this crossover. So let's just go ahead and get into this. Now, I'm going to tell you this contains spoilers, so for those of you that haven't read it yet, you might want to go read it before watching the video. So let's go ahead, and right off, the book artwork is amazing. I thought they were going to have difficulty with the difference between the Star Wars universe, Star Trek, Star Trek universe and the Green Lantern universe coming into one. I thought there was going to be a difficulty with the artwork, getting them to merge together. But they did it. They pulled it off. They made this amazing, amazing artwork with this. Now, it starts off with one of the Guardians is running for his life with 6 of the rings chasing after him. You hear a voice basically is talking to him, telling him, that it's over with. They found all the other Guardians. They're all dead. He's the last one. And the rings end up taking out the Guardian in this. Then you go and it cuts immediately to the Star Trek Enterprise flying in, and I want to point out this is the Enterprise from the movie they just recently did. Okay, so the people in this are actually the ones in the movie. They did a really good job of drawing Kirk as the guy that played Kirk in the movie. Spock is the guy that played Spock. And, all the characters are from the movie. So it's really excellent work. Now, they beam down to this planet. They find the Guardian's corpse, and they find all 6 rings laying on the ground around him. Of course, being Star Trek, they're going to beam this aboard and investigate it a little more. That's where things get a little crazy. Doc is examining the body, says it's a new species, had never seen it before, they have no clue who it is, know anything about it. Well, they got Scotty checking out the rings. And while Scotty's checking out the rings with his little buddy there, remember his little buddy from the movie? That's pretty cool that he's in this. The rings start moving around and making noises and stuff. So that's really cool that they go to that. And next thing you know, it's like a big burst of light. And they're like, oh, something's going on. Well, as they're there, who comes up? Of course, the Klingon. Klingon ship shows up. They start bantering back and forth, Kirk and the Klingons. And, it ends up being blah, blah, blah. They're going to be back and forth, back and forth. And meanwhile, what's going on the ship? They don't know, Kirk doesn't know that these rings are bouncing around and light coming from them. And then, boom, an explosion happens. These rings take off flying throughout this ship. And I'm telling you, this artwork, the storyline is amazing. As you can see, 3 of the rings end up staying inside the ship here. 3 of the rings take off outside the ship. They fly around. They're all over the place. They lose power to the ship. It basically comes back online. When it comes back online, the green ring has merged itself with the ship. These rings are flying and bouncing all over the place. As you can see, the yellow ring ends up in the Klingon ship. And of course, you see what happens next. Chang from the Klingon ship ends up with the yellow ring. You've got Chekhov ending up with a blue ring. You've got Uhura ending up with the red ring, and you got the Dr. Leonard McCoy ending up with a purple ring. The green ring's already merged on the ship. Everybody's ending up with these powers. Like, oh my gosh, what's going on? They're all panicking. They don't know what's happening. And next thing you know, you see this big burst of light appear in front of the Enterprise. And who is it? Green Lantern. And first thing he's got a question for, he's like, hey, nice ship there. But I noticed you have the body of my friend on your ship. And that's where they ended this off. Let me tell you, I'm stoked. I'm going out. I'm going to find the rest of these books because that merger, that artwork, that just makes me want to go, oh, what happened next? What's going on? I tell you what, DC, and I said this the last couple of weeks, you guys are stepping up your game. You're making an impact with your comic books, your artwork. These comic books look better than any you've done in the past. You have really stepped up your game. You know, in the 90s, the early 90s through the late 90s, you kind of dropped the ball on your artwork. I just wasn't impressed with your books. I got a bunch of them. You know, the reading of the books and the storylines, they were okay. The artwork is where you dropped off on those books. But when you started doing books like this, and you started getting artwork like this really made me want to start reading DC Comics again. Absolutely amazing, DC. I got to give it to you. You really did an excellent job with this. So on a Geek Glass review for the mashup crossover of Star Trek versus and the Green Lantern, we're going to go ahead and give this a 9 because it really stepped out. It made an impact. It's something that you want to go back and read again. You're going to want to find out what happens with these characters. It leaves you needing more. So, we're going to give this a 9, and way to go, DC. Star Trek crossover with the Green Lantern, absolutely amazing. So, it got a 9 Geek Glasses. Now, YouTube, go ahead and click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and be proud to be a geek.